The human race requires judgment.
You're going to judge us? You get all your ideas from comic book villains?
Alrighty, we are live and we're doing a breakdown, speculation, theory video on Spider-Man No Way Home. They just released an official trailer that really didn't show Tobey, that didn't show Andrew Garfield, or so we think. And we're going to talk about some key points with this, so I want to get right into the business and say this is all about the characters and the villains. This is a huge multiversal event, and we're dealing with characters from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. We're dealing with characters from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and we're also dealing with the current MCU characters crossing over together into this unknown plane called the multiverse. This is all due to Peter being a dumbass, and he wants the entire world to not know that he is Spider-Man after the events of Far From Home. We see that the repercussions are there, and then Peter wants to say, hey, can we do something to reverse this? Let's go to the Sanctum Sanatorium. Let's go to Doctor Strange. Let's see what he can do. Then he decides to take a lock of Peter's hair. Peter's hair is then put into a magical spell to reverse all this stuff going on. But Peter, trying to have second thoughts, says that, you know, are my friends going to remember who I am? Are they going to remember me at all? Strange tells him to shut up, stop messing up the spell, and then stuff gets further complicated, leading to the opening riff of the multiverse. Now, like I said earlier, this is all about the characters congregating together. The villains are very important to this ideal story, and they are called the Sinister Six or the Sinister Five in this movie because we don't know who the sixth character will be. We just know that it's going to be Octavius, is going to be the Lizard, is going to be Sandman, is going to be Electro, and then it's also going to be the final one. Yes, Green Goblin, Mr. William Dafoe himself. Avenge me, motherfucker. He's gonna be in this movie, and he's going to be the main antagonist for now. There are rumors that say it's gonna just be the Sinister Five, so we have to see how that all pans out. At the end of the day, the reason why the villains are so important is because it leads to the speculation of death. There's a few key scenes in this trailer where Peter looks distraught. He looks like he's finally accepted this responsibility that this all is on his shoulders, it's all his fault, and therefore he has to undo the problem of having this sort of sympathetic value to the villains. I guess he gets to know Dr. Otto Octavius because they have interactions, they have fights in this trailer, and it seems like they even have a moment where Octavius is captured, but they're on talkative terms. They don't hate each other despite having that fight on the bridge. They seem to be normal, just normal people talking out their grievances. And I think what's going to happen is the villains are going to have sympathetic values back to Peter. There's Sandman, which in Spider-Man 3, if you remember correctly, Sandman was not antagonistic to Peter at the end. Then there's also visual evidence of Electro sort of shooting a blast while Sandman protects MCU Peter from that said blast. This all leads back to the Aunt May thing. People say Aunt May is gonna die, right? There's visuals in the trailer of Peter being sad. There's also Green Goblin throwing the pumpkin bomb. There's also Green Goblin being the main villain. There's also the line of Peter saying it's his fault. It can only lead to death. It can only lead to one of his friends or family possibly being killed for trusting these villains too much. The only constructive criticism that's there is, of course, there's going to be villains on Peter's side and there's going to be villains that don't reform. It kind of makes the message of Far From Home a little bit sketchy now because it's like, Peter, you didn't learn that Mysterio betrayed you. Of course, you didn't learn from that situation where you could take it, apply it, and see that these guys are being bad. Why are you having this conflict with Strange, knowing this particular situation? Why do you want to be so virtuous to all of these villains? I understand that you don't want all of them to be wiped out. At the same time, everyone isn't redeemable, so it feels like there's a lesson that hasn't been learned yet with this particular version of Spider-Man. That's the only issue I really have with this trailer. Then again, I don't know. Maybe that growth comes from the responsibility, the pain, the anguish, and learning how to accept others. Maybe that is core Spider-Man DNA, because there are times where villains will be absolutely cross to Spider-Man. I'm talking like trying to kill Aunt May, trying to threaten people, trying to get Mary Jane killed, all this stuff, and Spider-Man still tries to find some redeeming nature in these bad guys. Maybe everything really isn't so black and white with this character. Everything is complex. The center philosophy revolves around responsibility and what would Ben Parker do as a man, and how that reflects on Peter Parker's life. You know, maybe there is some silver lining in the sand where Spider-Man does not see all these villains, all these people that treats him cross, as the legitimate bad guys all of the time. Just he will do anything to bring them to justice or try to see their perspective. And maybe that core philosophy is what makes Spider-Man so interesting in the first place. I had to correct myself there. I had to put this in the audio. I think that's really important when you really go back and see how Peter has been learning throughout the entire series.
This proves your point.
Wait. Watch him take his vengeance.
I should drop you. Take what you took from Ben Parker. But he wouldn't approve. With great power comes great responsibility.
You know that Daredevil season 2 brought it up that maybe a villain, a criminal, could have a sliver of good, a sliver of hope, a sliver of a second chance within themselves to reform and change their ways. And that could happen with anyone. It's all just a matter of perspective once again. Either way, I don't want to dwell too much on this point. We just know that the spherical item that Doctor Strange is holding, and the one that Peter wants, now has a purpose, because he wants to help these sympathetic villains, and therefore Strange doesn't want that. He wants to get this over with. There is no alternate way. Therefore, this is when he knocks Peter's soul straight out of his body. Then we move on to some other things that we notice. We notice that Doc Ock's arms turned red and it turned golden. Now, we had some speculation. People said that, oh no, Tony Stark built Stark Tech for fucking Dr. Otto Octavius. Therefore, this is the reason why his arms are now red and gold. And I don't think that's the purpose. I think that when Doc Ock grabbed MCU Peter in the Iron Spider outfit, it absorbed it somehow with the tentacle arms. It got transfused all the way into Doc Ock's arms, and this is how they turn a different color. I think this is why the Iron Spider suit is decommissioned or broken, because Peter has like multiple outfits in this movie to begin with. This explains that reasoning. It has to be that reasoning. He blocks an attack with his chest with the Iron Spider outfit, and therefore it probably gets sucked up, and then Peter's like defenseless during this whole situation until his ass is saved either by Stephen Strange or someone else. I sort of want to talk about Electro, Mr. Maxwell Dillon, and how he looks, and I also want to talk about Green Goblin. So let's start off with Electro. His suit looks fire. It looks amazing. I love it. It looks like the reminiscent comic look when he finally goes overcharged, and he has like these golden bolts, like a mask almost, when he finally charges up. I like that aesthetic a lot. Finally, man, he doesn't look like a blue Smurf anymore. Praise God, right? That looks incredible. I love it. Green Goblin, I saw some complaints that, oh, well, they changed a few minuscule details here or there. It didn't bug me too much, honestly. Outside of the least bulky shoulder pads, he looks reminiscent to Raimi Green Goblin. I mean, what more can you ask for? I know some people will say, oh, CGI, I don't like CGI. I think CGI is fine. Like, for comic book movies, people ain't getting hurt. You can't conjure up some big ass dragon and expect that to be real or done with practical effects. Like, no way. Like, you can't conjure up a big ass piece of sand with a human face. You need CGI for that. Raimi movies, they had CGI, definitely in spots in the first one. So you got to kind of deal with it. I understand the need, the love, the enjoyment for practical effects. just let it slide. Like, really, for big time comic book movies, for big time stunts, you kind of need CGI to look that way. I mean, it's just a given. At the end of the day, I think we're gonna be all right. Now this is the most interesting part of this particular video, and that is the trailer deception that clearly took place while we were watching this. So there was a Brazilian trailer released where the final shot shows fucking, you know, Tom Holland jumping towards Electro, jumping towards Sandman, and jumping towards the Lizard. And we see in that particular Brazilian release, something kicks Lizard on the side of the head. We don't know what it could be. I mean, it could have been a ghost. It could have been one entrant from Paranormal Activity. It could have been anything. What is kicking Lizard in the side of the face?
He moves right there! Coincidence? I think not!
Good, Janice, good. You spared me the trouble from doing that myself. Now, dispose of the body. This all boils down to trailer deception, a bull shot. A bull shot is when something is digitized out to appear deceiving to the audience in order to prevent spoilers. We saw this before with Infinity War. A good example is when Thanos clearly has only the Power Stone and the Space Stone in his possession in the Infinity War trailer. And then we see the actual movie and he only needs the Mind Stone, meaning that he got all the other Infinity Stones beforehand. They just didn't show it in the trailer, and they digitized out Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. The reason why is because they were debating the entire time whether they should show them in this trailer or not, and they decided not to. That's the big surprise. One of those guys is kicking the Lizard in the head, and we clearly can tell something is going on there. And I have a slew of liked tweets showing that there is evidence proving all this to the contrary. Like, there's one edit where you can see there's a Spider-Man arm somewhere in the trailer. I'm gonna put it on screen for you guys. Then they also have it where a Spider-Man that is not looking equivalent to Tom Holland wearing the suit. The lenses are different and everything. It's just CGI. This shot right here is very different. This is clearly like an edited Spider-Man, a variant coming into the picture. Then we have this speculation where it's like someone is grabbing MJ's hand, which is reminiscent of Gwen Stacy falling in The Amazing Spider-Man. And we see that the palms are a different color. Like, the palms on Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit at this point, it is a red palm and the fingers are blue. With this shot of someone grabbing MJ's hand, Michelle, the fingers are red and the palm is blue. Guess who has red fingers and a blue palm? Yes, it is the Andrew Garfield outfit. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, look at the big brain on Brad. You a smart motherfucker if you figured that out. The last piece of damning evidence is clearly when we see a construction site being ravaged and torn apart by the Sinister Five. We can also see in the leak shots of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire that they are standing on God knows what else? A construction site. Yes, standing right there, clear as day. Andrew Garfield said all of this was photoshopped, manipulated, or whatever. Why is there a construction site in the actual official trailer if everything was photoshopped? Why is this a backdrop? Why is this an environment for the movie? I can tell you why. Because you are in the movie, Andrew. There's no way you're not in the movie. That's why all your interviews are very panicked and finicky and dodging the question, because you know that you're in this movie. And that's fine, man, because I'm excited. As a Spider-Man fan, I really am.
You're
fool! If I die, you'll never find out the truth.
I don't mind a little detective work.
Either way, that is my Spider-Man official trailer, or I might as well say final trailer analysis, because there's gonna be no more trailers coming out. The movie's just gonna come out. These characters that were digitized out are gonna appear in the movie, and we have to see them sometime near December 17th. They're releasing tickets for pre-order on November the 29th, I think. Correct me if wrong, but they are releasing tickets then. Get your tickets early. Let's go see some Spider-Man. Let's go get hype, boys. Anyway, this is Renegade Operative signing out. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and I wanted to break down all the stuff that I noticed and the discussions going on, and give some solid evidence as to what is occurring, why, and giving my overall thoughts on it. So if you care to appreciate all the content I put out, all the hard mother freaking work, then please leave me a like on the video, comment on the video, let me know how you felt about this final trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, and tell me everything you think in the comment section below. You dig? This is Renegade Operative once again signing out. Check me out on social media in the description below. Add me everywhere, follow me, PSN, I'm everywhere, I'm all over the place. Discord, I got a survival horror Discord. Go follow, jump in, have fun, have a good time, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao, laters, and take care of yourselves.